Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Mueller. I am the Chief Product Owl and Resident Cheesemonger here at KnowledgeOwl. And today I'm really excited to talk about a feature that we sort of sneakily released right around the new year and have been adding to a little bit the last few months. And it is now sort of fully fledged enough that I feel comfortable sharing it in video format with the world. And that feature is called Article Favorites. So in a nutshell, you can use article favorites if your knowledge base requires that individuals log in to view content in your knowledge base. So that might be KnowledgeOwl based reader accounts, that might be a single sign-on integration, might be remote authentication. But in order for favorites to work, we need to have an individual to tie favorites to. So if you have a publicly available knowledge base, this won't be a good choice for you. If you have a mixture of public and private content, it will work. It just won't be displayed if anybody hasn't logged into the knowledge base. And what we basically do is it enables an additional icon in the article title next to the print PDF email icons. The default is a little star. And so folks can click the star to favorite an article. They can favorite up to 10 articles, and then you have choices about where you want to show those, whether that's the table of contents, whether you want to add a custom section into your homepage, or if your theme is using Bright Column, you can add it there as well. And people can favorite and unfavorite as they so desire. That will also change the order of the favorites in the list, so the most recently favorited thing is on top. So I thought what I might do is to show you what this looks like sort of out of the gate with it enabled, and then walk through the steps to enable it, because there are a few sort of hidden gotchas along the way, depending on how old your knowledge base is, and therefore some of the stuff that we might have hard-coded into the theme back when we were hard-coding things into themes. All right, so I will start sharing my screen here. I'm going to start with a knowledge base that already has this enabled, which would be this one. I'm going to log in here as a reader so you can see what a reader would actually see here. All right, so I'm logged in as a reader. This is a knowledge base using our sort of new support theme. And I have it set up.
The favorite tab.
Oh, because I picked by tab, not by screen. I was trying to be not creating an infinite mirror, and then I didn't share the thing I needed to share. How about the whole screen? That's not terrifying at all. Okay, can you see this?
Welcome to my new KB.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Mary Beth, for saving everyone from not seeing what I was talking about. All right, so this is just a very simple knowledge base that is using our new support theme. You can get at this theme at any time by creating a new knowledge base from scratch. At this point, we put it in. We will also give you the option to pop in some sample content, which is what's in here. So it's a very small knowledge base, but I have it set up so that favorites appears in the table of contents. It will appear if you've got the search bar, the home link, or the glossary link enabled in table of contents. It will appear below those, and it will appear above the content hierarchy. So if you've got none of these links here, it'll be at the very top. And when I go into an article, so let's say I hop somewhere in here, you'll see I have this new star icon as an article action up here. I can star that to add it to my favorites list. Once I do that, and I refresh the page, my favorite section will now include what I have favorited. So it'll hold up to 10. This basically allows readers a way to quickly jump to resources that they use frequently. They can add and remove as they see fit. And there's very little for you to do once you've gotten it set up and configured in your knowledge base. So that is sort of the desired end product. Let's look a little bit at how we get there. So first off, in settings, there's a new option called article favorites, which gives you this screen, which will allow you to enable article favorites. That is the absolutely required step here, is to check this box. The other option is whether you want to include it in your table of contents. I'm going to go with both of those. And you'll see it gives us this favorites merge code, which is the merge code that we can use to add it in anywhere in our theme outside of the table of contents. This particular knowledge base is a mixture of old and new. So it's particularly fun because it's going to be a great example to me of what most of us will have to do to get this set up. So I have enabled that. And I think a lot of us think, okay, it's enabled. There's nothing else I have to do here, right? And you'll notice if I come into an article, there is no star icon here. This is sign number 1 that you have a theme that requires an extra step. So what that means is I'm going to hop over here into style settings. And what we care about here is in custom HTML in the article custom HTML. So yours may look a little bit different here. These are custom HTML templates. Depending on how heavily customized your theme is, these might look very different. But what we are mostly looking for here is the section that has our article title in it, which is usually an H1. And then there's a section that's going to handle those article actions. This is what's generating the PDF icon, the print icon, the email icon. If you have any of those, you probably have a portion of this. In our older themes, like this one, those actions are all hard-coded. So you will see a whole bunch of HTML here that will start with span class equals ko-article-actions. And then there will be a series of spans and links that are going to generate all of the icons that are those article actions. We have 2 options here. If you don't want to touch the HTML, maybe it looks very different and you don't want to mess anything up, or you're just scared, or you've made other customizations in here and you're worried that by touching it, you're going to like seriously break part of your theme. First option here is that we have a merge code that will only add the star icon in. It's not going to touch anything else. So for that, what you're going to look for. So we've got this span that starts with KO article actions. We're going to look for the end of that span, which should be right around the end of your header, and go just before that span. We want this icon to be included with the rest of those article actions. That's why we're going before the span. And what we're going to do is come down here and to select a merge code and head down here into the article merge code section, which is pretty long. It is right near the bottom of the dropdown, the giant dropdown. And we want this article favorites action. That'll give us the merge code that we need to dump in. In this case, I've put my cursor where I want, so I can just hit insert. It's going to add my merge code directly in. If I save and I come back out here and I refresh, voila. I now actually have a star icon that is clickable. My favorites will now work. Fantastic. So that is option 1. Option 2, if you are comfortable updating the HTML here, let me get rid of the fancy little change I just made. We have replaced this entire hard-coded span of kind of awkward-looking HTML with a new merge code that will include all 3 of those icons as well as the favorites icon if favorites has been enabled in the knowledge base. So if you are like me and you like to keep your HTML tidy, this is what we're going to do here. We are going to get rid of this entire span. Oh, which is terrifying. Maybe I'll comment it out first. Let's start with the least destructive possible action. So comment it out. There we go. And again, I'm going to come down here into my article merge codes, and I'm going to grab this article actions instead of the article favorites action. So in this case, I'm grabbing every possible action. We're going to insert that in place of our span. And I'm going to be brave, even though this is recorded live, and I will get rid of all my commented out HTML. And I'm going to save. So this keeps our title HTML a whole lot shorter, much more concise. It also means that if in the future we roll out any exciting new features that might get icons in the article title, you won't have to do any extra editing here. You'll get them automatically. And let's make sure that that change actually did what I thought it did. So this should look identical, and it does. All of my icons are here. The cases where you might not want to replace this with the full merge code might be things where you've removed some of those icons. If you do, if that is the case, but you'd still like to move to that tighter merge code, we do have help documentation on this that will walk you through hiding the additional icons using custom CSS. There's custom CSS you can just copy and paste right in. It's pretty fast. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to edit the custom CSS. It just works. So that is an additional option. So we've got favorites here. It's working. I'm going to favorite this. I'm going to come back out and favorite a couple other things because who doesn't want 8,000 favorites here? And once I have done that, at any point now, since I've got this in my table of contents, I can quickly jump to those. Now, what if I want to access that from somewhere that is not my table of contents? So in this case, I think let's put it on my homepage. Let's make it really easy for people to get to their favorites once they have logged in. In that case, first we have to figure out where the code from my homepage lives. There are one of two places that it might be. One of them is here in style settings in the custom HTML homepage section. Ooh, and beautifully, it does live here. The other place it might live, and this is particularly true for a lot of our folks who've been with us for a long time, is up here in knowledge base homepage. If this had a bunch of stuff in it, this would be the place that I would want to edit. Since it doesn't, I'm going to hop back over to style settings, edit there. The process is fairly similar for each of them. In this case, I'm just going to take over my popular articles section here and replace it with my favorites. And here's where I did not write here we go. Article list merge codes, favorite articles. This is what we want. So I'm going to get rid of my popular articles and I'm going to insert that reader favorite articles here. I've updated my title. Let me preview my changes here. Okay, here we go. I've got my section. It doesn't have anything in it right now because this particular person hasn't favorited anything, but let me come back out to the reader that I was already testing with. And now I have my favorite section, which has the exact same list that I have in my table of contents list. So you can use that merge code in any of the custom HTML templates. If you wanted to work it into the right-hand column, you could do that. You could actually put it, if you wanted to put it like in a category or an article itself, for example, you could do that as well. It will work just about anywhere in the knowledge base. And just as a reminder here, favorites will only appear to folks who are actually logged in. So in this case, this is a knowledge base that is a mixture of public content and private content. And now that I've logged out, if I come out here, I won't see that favorites option here. I will still see the section on the homepage. So if you're using a mixture of content, you've got a couple options here. One of them would be to actually put the section into a snippet that might be reader group restricted and only show it if somebody's logged in and is a member of a reader group. But otherwise, like the interactions with the articles and stuff, you won't see the icon because we can't save favorites because you're not logged in currently. I'm going to pause there. Do we have any questions that I should answer while we still have the recording going? Mary Beth, did I miss anything that you have questions on?
Can I change the star?
Yes, you absolutely can change the star. So it does require a little bit of custom CSS though, but let me walk you through how to get to the help page on that. So if you're in settings favorites and you come out here and you open the help widget, you will see that the second to last option here is change the favorite star icon. This will give you a quick run through on what to do. Basically, there is a little chunk of custom CSS to grab. You do need to know what icon you want to replace it with. We recommend using Font Awesome because we use Font Awesome natively, so they're all preloaded. The big key is that you need to head to Font Awesome, find out what the Unicode value for that is, and then we can plug it in here. So let me do that really quickly. We can replace the star. What do you want to replace it with?
A bookmark.
A bookmark. See what we've got. So I've got a bookmark here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to copy this Unicode. And then I'm going to find the tab I was in before. All right, let's head to settings style. I'm going to come into the bottom of my custom CSS. And of course, now that I closed that, I don't have it. So hold please. Actually, no, hey, you don't have to do that. Let's go here and search star icon. Yes. I use fun names for all of my fake readers. So the reader I logged in on was Al Pacino. I also have Albus Dumbledore. Anything that's owl themed for me is fair game. I double down on all of the owls. So let me dump this in right above my media query here, just so I've got a little extra screen real estate. And my Unicode is back out here. Let's copy that. I am just going to replace what we have here, keep the slash, but replace the XXX with whatever that new value is. Hit save. I have to remember which window is which. Okay, let me log back in out here. Oh, who is this? I think this was, no, this is, oh, this one. Oh, get into, and here is my bookmark. This one's one I already favorited, so it'll be filled in, but I can unfavorite it by clicking in it again, and my list will update. New icon. Any other questions before I stop recording? Travis, are you okay
Travis.
talking out loud? Do you want to put it in chat? What would you prefer?
I'll say it out loud. Sure.
All right, go for it.
So yeah, a question regarding whether this could appear for non-logged in readers. And the only way I can see that working would be to collect a cookie or something like that in order to store that preference. Is there any intent to do that, or?
No, not at this time. Right now, it's very much tied to having an actual reader account to log it to. And I would say we're generally trying to get away from behavior where we have to rely on a browser cookie to be able to deliver functionality to somebody. So right now, I would say no, but we certainly can log that request. I see Mary Beth like looking up into the distance. So I don't know if you have something else you want to add to this.
So an alternative to cookies, you can store things similar local storage in a browser. So it wouldn't work between browsers, but you can store, preferences. You know how like sometimes the browser will remember, like if you had something open or closed, right? Even if you're not logged into a site, like there are preferences. So potentially there's a way to do it. It gets a little bit tricky, but I don't think it's impossible. Could just be tricky.
Thank you.
I mean, one of the other things I've seen some websites do, I think blogs do it too. I think that our blog at one point did as well, is giving people instructions for how to use the bookmarking tool in their browser. Because a lot of people don't necessarily know how to do some things in their browser. So I've seen people basically giving people like a tool or a prompt to do something that doesn't actually stay locally in the page. It actually interacts with the browser, whether that's finding something in the browser or favoriting something. But it's just sort of like a helper text, because not everybody knows about all of the fun things your browser can do.
Yeah, we did used to have it in our old blog. And it
Yeah, that's
basically
what I remember.
created like a little like pop-up near the top that you could click on and it would auto create whatever the current page was as a bookmark. I don't remember if it gave you the option on like where in your bookmarks hierarchy it wanted to save it. I feel like it just bookmarked it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the downside of like using the browser things, is you don't get that nice little favorite section in KnowledgeOwl. So
yes.
I think it's a solid feature request.
Mhm. All right, on that note, I think I will stop recording.